Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Midweek Fix from the LFC Daytrippers. I'm Gav, and with me tonight I have got Emmett, Kev, and Seany. On tonight's show, we're going to talk about the quadruple, fate or fantasy. I'm going to get the lads to tell me what they think. I'm going to talk about Man City, who are up next for the Reds. We're going to have a big chat around Trent Alexander-Arnold, and anything else that comes into the chat. But I'd like to start with Seany. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, it's been a while. I can't remember the last time I was on a pod. I think we were doing one of them blatant stupid drafts.
Yeah, you had a fit that night, man. I'm not doing this fucking podcast anymore. Go fuck yourselves. I think that's what
I
your
didn't
words.
mean it literally. I
I
didn't
know,
mean
yeah.
it literally. But now it's good to be back.
Good stuff. But Seany, I want to ask you, the Ev, two penalties tonight, 2-1 up at half time, lose 3-2. You are of the belief that is them done.
Yeah. I'm not even going to be trying to be witty or funny about it, Gav. I said weeks ago, when they didn't beat Watford at home, I thought they were done. Because I'm looking at these fixtures now and the way they're playing out, and
Wolves at home, was it?
no, I think they had Wolves and Watford, didn't they?
No, they'd Wolves and then Newcastle. They ended up beating Newcastle.
Yeah, well, even then, the late winner against Newcastle hasn't done anything for them because what it looked like at the time, Gav, to me was they weren't fighting, they weren't battling, and you look now and being deadly serious about it. You look now, and I just don't see where that next point comes from. Like they, Burnley are shy. They're crap. They're not even the Burnley that we've come to know where Toughmore is a difficult place to go. It hasn't been. Everyone's beaten them there this year. They're shy. Everton are absolutely shy. And I think the problem is they've zero fight in them. And I don't think, Lampard doesn't have the chops to manage any Premier League club, never mind Everton. I think they're in big, big trouble, to be honest with you. You're watching all this talking to me here. Fucking I don't see, Gav, where that points come from. Honestly, I even think so. I even think one of the teams could give them points.
Sorry, we've lost Seany there. He's frozen. He'll knock himself off and come back on. His watch has obviously interfered with the signal. Kev, you're still there?
All right, mate.
Yeah,
just about.
Good stuff.
Just about,
so,
yeah.
Kev, while Seany gets himself sorted, they look. I said it a couple of weeks ago. I think they're gone. I did say if they lost at the weekend and lost this one tonight, they're gone, and I have to stick by that because they're in a great position there tonight, and they managed to fuck it up. And it's just, it's for me. I don't know where they go from here. I think their only hope. I genuinely think their only hope is those Leicester games, because I just don't trust Brendan Rodgers to go and put everything to the sword like he should.
Well, I was flicking between all three games tonight, and I settled on the Chelsea one in the end because that was a bit end to end. It was a good game. So, but the bits of the Burnley-Everton game that I saw, Everton looked fairly in control in the first half. They were going okay, and even when they got the penalties, I thought, look, once you get ahead, Burnley will fall away, but they never. And it was the opposite in the end. Their heads went, and like Sean was spot on. Their get up and go got up and fucked off. They had no fight about them. They had no bottle. They had no plan. They've switched to a back five because of the amount of suspensions they've got, and they look like they're playing with strangers. Everyone is trying to do it on their own, and some of them are trying to play for moves and trying to showboat like Richarlison is. Calvert-Lewin looks like he's never played up front in his entire life. The ball's just bouncing off him. He's got no look whatsoever, and he just doesn't look arsed. And that's a scary thing if you're an Everton fan and they don't look bothered. And you see it at the end when the final whistle went. They went and laid down on the ground, and poor me syndrome sets in. But the reality is, he's thrown the players under the bus every game for the last 3 or 4 games, and they've just went, well, look, we're getting well paid. We'll get a move somewhere else. Someone will take a punt on a lot of those players, and they'll just move on. They will move on somewhere else. They don't care. And when you have a playing staff who just genuinely don't care, you're in worse trouble. At least Burnley look like they give a shit, because the players who've been there for a good while look like they actually want to be there, and they look like they're trying. It might not work all the time, but they're trying at least, and they look like they're putting in a shift. You know, they've had so many players there for so long now, they can't chuck in the towel, and they've been there and done it. And that's what tonight's win will give them. You know, Everton had to get something out of tonight. Tonight was the most important one, because their next run of 6 is terrible.
Yeah, I know they have Brentford and they've Watford and stuff to come, but I think that might be in the last couple of games of the season when it might be gone too far. Seany, are you back with us?
I am, yeah.
Yeah. Before I move on to Emma, they don't look like they're fighting them, Seany. And they don't look like they have a guy to organise them. Like someone says there, Antio says, if they kept Rafa, they'd be home and dry. The club is a shit show. Like, before I move on to Emma, Seany, I'll give you another go at this. I think you're right. They just don't look like they're organised. Actually, organised for a fight. That's what they don't look like they are.
Gav, it starts at the top. Like, they're a worst run football club in England. If not one of the, and like, people think if they stay up, it's all rosy. They are in deep shit no matter what happens, because they're going to be the club that the Premier League or the FA make an example out, because the club has just been so poorly run. It's just been neglect from top to bottom. And if they were go down, I'm not going to say the words fear the worst, because if I'm being completely honest, I couldn't give a rat's arse what happens to them if they were to go down. But you're looking at a Sunderland job. Genuinely, you're looking at probably having to bring all academy players through to play there. I'd imagine some of them players have no European football clauses in their contract. Never mind fucking championship clauses. They are in deep shit. And the thing is, the likes of Burnley, the likes of Leeds, a few of their lads would have tasted championship football and playoff football, and to be in the mix at this end of the season, playing big important games, Burnley relegation fights, Leeds and promotion battles, they will have the gall for that. Everton won't. Everton are full of players who are nowhere near as good as they think they are. And it's just as simple as that. And it's that they are in dire need. They need to sack Lampard. Genuinely. They need to even get a manager in like Sam Allardyce. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I cannot believe I'm saying it. But Lampard is even incapable of setting a team up to play percentage football, Gav.
But you see, they can't, Seany. Like, I've said it.
They probably can't afford it, Gav.
Not about afford it. Not even about afford it. I said it going back last week. They're in dire need of a manager that can keep them up. And I said it again tonight, right? But you have to remember the circumstances around Frank Lampard's appointment. They were going to go for the guy.
I know, Gav.
Right?
But that's
and what they done was they listened to the fans, and the fans kicked and screamed. And now the fans can't even turn them.
Gav, you're looking at the beat. Look how poorly run they are, right? They sell Digne, right, for 25 million based on Rafa. They got rid of Emma and Brandt based on Rafa, and then 2 weeks later they sacked Benitez. Mm-hmm. They sacked Benitez after backing him to the hill, because that's exactly what they did. They got rid of the director of football and they fucked Digne out. They got 25 million for him. They got rid of him because it was literally like Rafa goes, I don't want him. They got him out. It was like they were going to back Rafa. And to be honest with you, if they had stuck with Rafa, they would have been safe by now.
Mm. Yeah.
Because you would have got something out of them. But I genuinely think they're gone. Because when you look at the game, I don't see where they're going to get results.
Well, Emmett, O'Neill says here, their next 5 is United at home. I think it's Leicester at home, Liverpool away, Chelsea at home, and then Leicester away. They play Leicester twice in the last 9. That's an awful run of games. My fear over this, I've no issue with everything going down, by the way. And people saying, oh, well, you know, the derby and all, fuck that. If it was the other way around, they would absolutely be crawling over themselves to see us go down. So, I'm worried about the Leicester stuff, because Leicester are the only team that they have to play twice. They have nothing really to play for, and Brendan Rodgers is just a model to give them something. But Emma, taking it just on its merits where those teams are in the league. Like Leicester, have they got an outside chance of Europe? Maybe they do. I'm not too sure. But Liverpool are going for the title. Chelsea have to keep going to fend off a possible charge from behind them with regards to fourth. United have to win at the weekend. There's just no doubt about it. The teams that are coming up against them, and I know they have to play Watford and I know they have to play Brentford, but even the last day of the season, they have to go to Arsenal, who could need something for the top four. The way it's fallen and the way the teams around them need something in a bad way just doesn't look good for them, because all these teams will have either A, quality, or B, the will to absolutely fight for their lives against them.
I know they have the likes of Brentford towards the end of the season, but it's going to be done by then. I think it is already done, like what Seany said. I think they're gone. I said it last week. Once you're in free fall, it's very hard to turn it around. And we said that teams down that end, the Burnleys, the Norwiches, I know Norwich as good as gone as well, the Watfords, the Leeds, they've all been in dogfights before. And tonight proved that. Burnley scrapped their way back from being 2-1 down and got their win, got their 3 points. They know how to
just went into autopilot, like didn't they?
Exactly, but like they're never not at the bottom. So that's at this stage of the season. So they literally just reverted to type and scrapped for their lives and got back and got their 3 points. Everton don't know how to do that. I think it was Kev said that they were probably playing as individuals. You don't need to play as individuals when you're scrapping for your life. You need to play as a team. You need to play for each other. But I think they're as good as gone. You may give them the 3 points for Brentford if you want, but it'll be done by then, I think.
Yeah, like, because, do you know, the one thing that keeps sticking in my head, right, and I'm going to have a look at it here while I'm talking to you, is it's Watford that keeps standing out to me. Like, Watford have games there, right? Now, they're not in great form, Watford. But if you look at their next four, right, they're home to Leeds, home to Brentford, okay, away to Man City, home to Burnley. Do you know what I mean? Home to Everton after they're away to Crystal Palace. Home to Leicester, who we said are probably only one of the few teams in the league that have nothing to play for. And away to Chelsea on the last day. But I don't know how it gets there. I actually don't know how it gets to that, because, well, like, calling out Everton's matches in full, right? They've been beaten tonight. Home to United on Saturday. Home to Leicester. Away to Liverpool. Home to Chelsea. Away to Leicester. Away to Watford. Home to Brentford. Home to Palace. Away to Arsenal, and there's another Leicester game in there somewhere as well. No, that's in there already. So,
you look at this weekend, right?
I think Everton are probably hoping that this goes down to the second last game of the season. They're still in it.
Gav, to go on with your point there, like, you're looking at next 4 or 5 games. Just look at the weekend coming up, right? Look at the way the fixtures have fallen.
Yeah.
Watford play Leeds.
Yeah.
Burnley play Norwich.
Yeah.
Everton play United. They could literally be level on points with second bottom of the league.
Yeah.
And if not, it means if Leeds are to beat Watford, it means they're pulled away.
Yeah.
Don't catch them. So they are in the mire now. They are in the mire. And to be honest, they could beat United the way they are. But
this is the United side, Seany, that's sitting 7th and could have drifted 4th. United have to win at the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is the thing with, like, I'm looking there. I can't say it for them. I genuinely can't. Like, Burnley will fight. They have a method. I don't know what type of football. I don't know what style of football Everton play. I genuinely, I couldn't tell you. I watched bits of that game tonight, like Kev. I couldn't tell you what. They got 2 penalties. They didn't create much else other than that. No. Nothing. I genuinely, and you know what else is happening? The injuries are piling up for them as well, and they've had a few red cards. That discipline is all over the shop. They are like free falling.
And the other side of it you've got as well is volume of games. They're not used to playing Saturday, Wednesday.
And they want to get used to it, Kev, because
that's what's coming now.
The championship, and they haven't got the squad. It's 46 or 48 games.
46, yeah.
And it's every other day. It's literally in and out. Yeah. And that's what happens when the so-called clubs that are too big go down. They can't cope with the games. That they haven't got the squads. They can't reconstruct the squad quick enough. They are in big shit.
They play on Saturday against United. They don't play them for another another 10 days because of the FA Cup weekend, right? But they then have the 20th of April, 24th of April. They have a week off till the 1st of May, 7th of May, 11th of May, 15th of May, 19th of May. Like, they literally have, from the 1st of May to the 22nd of May, they've 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games in 20 days.
And that's the thing, Gav. Everyone was going on about Arsenal being cut and dry for top 4 and Everton having all these games in hand. It means fuck all if you can't put the points on the board. Look, Arsenal are right back in it now. After losing one game.
Yeah.
And
but it's because of who they have to play.
Exactly.
It's the same with, you look at Burnley and Watford are going. Someone out of those two is taking points because they have to play each other.
Exactly.
And in the meantime, Everton are running into brick walls.
Yeah.
So no matter what happens, they're getting caught by someone, whether it be Burnley or Watford. Someone is catching them. And then the other side of it is the ones above Everton are pulling away. If they're not being pulled away, whoever is Watford, who are playing Leeds, are catching them again. So they're caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. Whether they look up or they look down, someone is going to get them.
Well, look,
there it is.
One word answer right now. Do Everton, as it stands, in your opinion, go down? Kev?
Holy shit. Just seeing Tiernan McVeigh's comment there, Gav. Jesus Christ. Sean Dyche.
Oh, hold on, I'll put it up on the screen for you.
That's mad. Oh, wow.
Sean Dyche to BBC Sport. I said at half time, I'm not sure how Everton know how to win a game, lads. Fuck me, that's dire.
Wow.
Yeah, well, there you go. Some people, Steve McDonald says jobs in the city of Liverpool. In response to me saying I've no problem if they go down. There's more chance of them losing. Listen. That always comes up as an argument, right? There's more chance of these people losing their jobs because of the way their club is being run.
Exactly.
Right? Regardless of what league or division they're in or how successful they are. They're posting 350 million losses for the last 3 years, and they're trying to scramble it around to make it look like the stadium is what's causing this, and it's clearly fucking not. It's not. No. So when people lose their jobs, it won't be the fact that they went down and that's why they lost their jobs. They'll probably tell you that it's not that, because what happens is as soon as that happens, you see playing staff getting cut, but the things you don't see is the backroom staff and all the staff around the club start to get cut all over the place. So it's not actually about going down plays a part, but the way that club is being run, me or anyone else wanting everything to go down, or saying no problem if they go down. That's a secondary thing with the way this club is being run, because I know decent Everton fans that will tell you honestly what's going on, and when they speak to you honestly, they go, it's an absolute shit show from top to bottom. And do you know what? I was talking to one the other day and he said, I fucking wish they weren't building that stadium. And I said, why? He said, because I'll tell you why, it's masking so much at that club at the moment. Everything keeps being pointed back to the stadium and let's get to the stadium. And he said, and there's no point in going to the stadium because all you're doing is posting loss after loss after loss. But look, quick, one more answer. Kev, do Everton go down?
Yep.
Seany?
Yep.
Emma?
Yep.
I fully agree. 4-4-4. Tonight in the Champions League, Real Madrid were really good against Chelsea. A 3-1 win. Benzema getting another hat-trick in that game. Rudiger absolutely bottled out a challenge with Benzema for the third, which was glorious. There you go. They have a 3-1 lead. The last time I looked, Villarreal were 1-0 up in injury time against Bayern. I think it finished like that. Bayern Munich had 25 shots in the game when I looked at it just before the end. But Villarreal take a 1-0 win to the Allianz. The Allianz next week. So that's our side of the draw. We've spoken about Boney. I want to mention Mitrovic at Fulham, who scored his 38th goal in 36 championship games tonight. I know it's a championship, but that's fucking some serious going. He's absolutely tearing the record for top goal scorer apart in that league this season. Yeah. But let's move on. I want to have a quick chat because we had a 3-1 win over Benfica last night. We've 1 foot in the semi-finals. We go up against Man City on Sunday, which we'll talk about in a little minute as well. I want to talk about quadruples. Fate, like you feel like this is happening, or fantasy, or a bit about. Emma, I'll come to you first.
I think it's fate. Like look what the team has done over the last couple of seasons. Look at the runs they've gone on. It is probably one of, if not the best Liverpool side ever. So I don't think for 1 second that it's fantasy. Definitely fate. I can see them doing it. I'm not going to say they could do it easy, but yeah, I'm fully on board with them actually doing it. The pathway helped a little bit in the Champions League. The look of the draw, kind of. I know we have to go up against City in the FA Cup, but even looking at City recently, I just think if we can, I think those games, the 2 games against City, are going to be won and lost in the midfield. I don't think that, well, depending on whether Diaz comes back, and even at that, I don't think he's as good as they make him out to be. I think our options up front completely outweigh their options up front. So I think, and our defence will completely outweigh their defence. So I think the midfield is where these games are going to be won and lost. And if we can win that, I think we win both games.
Okay. Do you feel, though, if we were to beat City at the weekend and go and beat them the following weekend, the FA Cup, you feel that it's absolute fate, and this is absolutely like, you know,
it's absolutely on. Yeah, look, even Klopp said it himself today. Even if you beat City at the weekend, that doesn't mean anything. Like, there's banana skins in there, so it's not gonna take the foot off the gas if you beat City, and that's it. It's a done and dusted. But yeah, look, they're the 2 biggest roadblocks at this moment in time. Well, Bayern, if they come back against Villarreal, but we've beaten Bayern before in the Champions League. I'm not even sure whether the team at the moment is as good as the team that we beat in the Champions League. So there's 3 games I think are the bumps in the road, but we have more than enough to actually just run over those bumps.
Seany, you know me, I'm. No one will convince me for a second that we're not winning all 4 trophies here, because when Liverpool get going, and what I mean by that is that the 11 you put on the pitch, the squad, the manager, backroom staff, the stadium, the fans in it. Once they smell something, they're all over it, and they won't let go of it for love nor money. Is it still a bit of fancy in your mind, though, because there is those roadblocks that Emma speaks about?
Look, if we're being entirely honest, this season has been fantasy. If you look at how it's played out for Liverpool, like, I've been like bleeding. See, it's getting to the stage now where you can see everything, and we spoke about this loads of times. So it's kind of like if you're in the NFL playoffs or the NBA playoffs, you're in brackets, and you can see the games you have to win to get to the end, sort of thing. And we're in the end game now, in a sense where we know exactly who we might or might not play to have to win these trophies. But one thing that we do know is that I'm at the game like playing Dustin Hoffman and Rayman the last few days, just sitting here.
Just flinging toothpicks around the gaff.
Like playing like your man out of Game of Thrones, just walking every 20 minutes. And the way I see it is, Gav, we have, right, I'll put it out there, right? We're the 2 best teams in Europe. All right? They're the 2 best teams in the world at the moment. I don't think there's any disputing that. It's us and City, and we'll have to play them. We play them a minimum twice before now and the end of May. And it's going to decide the trophies. And law of averages means we'll win one of them games and we'll lose one of them games. We could win both. We could lose both. So you'd be a fucking idiot to tell anybody we can't do it. But at the same time, if someone told you it might not happen, you couldn't really argue it either way, because I think it was 11 centimetres or something it's come down to in the past between us 2.
11 millimetres, yeah.
Millimetres even. Sorry, Jesus, it's been so tight, and I do feel like momentum is with us, and I get the sense that this team, Gav, of never panic. Don't panic. We don't panic. This team don't panic. Last night we go 2-1 down, we have a bad 10 minutes, or we go 2-1 up, we have a bad 10 minutes, but always in control, sort of thing. Loads of options from the bench to change it. Like, we're in a position now where there's people talking about dropping Mo Salah for the weekend.
Yeah.
What does it say for how strong this team is at the moment? And you are giggling, lads, but this is
that's the truth. It's
like, lads, if you're picking that team on form, Salah and Mane don't play the weekend.
Yeah, Mane maybe. If you're picking it on absolute form, Salah doesn't start.
Yeah, do you get what I'm saying?
I think you probably play Mane, Jota, Diaz on form.
What happens is you get to the stage where you're either convincing yourself why it will happen or why it won't happen. But if you're looking at it's 14 to play, all right? We can lose against Benfica next week. We could be beaten 1-0 again, all right? So you really only have to win 13. You can win 12. You can draw one of the semi-finals, all right? We're right in a gaff. We really are. This Sunday, very much like the Carabao Cup final was, is the springboard for the final straight, I feel. I feel if we beat City on Sunday, I genuinely I can't see anyone stopping us across any board. Because we will, if we have the potential to fucking maul them this weekend. Genuinely, we do. We've seen it. We haven't played well for ages. It looks like we go 2-0 up and take the foot off the gas. I'm just wondering if we are being primed for this. I really hope.
I think we look like we're in cruise
control. If we go out there on Sunday and beat them, you're going to have everyone going, Jesus Christ. It's sort of like Everton realising that they're going down. It'll be a realisation that, oh my God, these are going to do this, aren't they?
Yeah.
And there's little or all. There's fuck all anyone can do about it, I feel. Genuinely, if you keep the three boys fit, Virgil, Alisson, and Fabinho, good luck. Genuinely. I just feel like it's in our hands. I can't pay. This is bonkers. This is fantasy stuff. It's mad. Genuinely. I'm not sure I could watch us play. If we win the league, right, and we have to play City in an FA Cup, in a European Cup final, we're going to Paris. We're already booked. I'll be in some bleeding patisserie eating shortcakes or something. I won't be watching that game.
Yeah, you'll be rocking in a chair somewhere, won't you?
Yeah, I'll be shaking like a shitting dog.
You'll be on a bleeding. You'll be on a deck chair under the Eiffel Tower, just sweeping cans, going, I'm not having a bar at this game.
Just show up and give it all. And a big thing by me is Van Dijk put out after the Watford game the other day. Relax, enjoy the ride. This group of players,
and Alisson is telling you last night after 3-1 win that we need to improve.
They're in complete control, Gav, of their own destiny, and they know that. Pep has been rattlers for the last few weeks with mad shy coming out of them all. They will play that bollocks off. Don't get me wrong. They're shy to watch, but they're such a good side. Let's make no bounds about it. But
they're mechanical.
So are we.
Yeah. Jeremiah. Oh, sorry. I don't want to miss this one. Jeremiah's biggest fear is beating City and dropping points against Spurs United. Shawnee's, you never walk along in 97, says Shawnee's getting him horny now. So there you go. Someone did mention that Kev has to get a Vidal-style mohawk, which he has agreed to if Liverpool do the quadruple. But Kev, Shawnee touched on something there, and people in the chat about being primed for this, right? And you've said over the last while, we haven't really played overly well in the last probably 5-6 games, whatever it might be, whatever you want to pick, 4, 5, 6, doesn't matter. But Kev, like last night showed me something where we made a mistake. We were a bit all over the place for 15. That's fine. It's a European Cup quarter-final. That's fine. But we just managed it then and went 2-1, grand. And we just managed this game. And if you give me another chance, we'll make a fucking 3 and we walk away. Does it look like you they're being primed, Kev? It's like, you know, They look like to me, and I'll tell you what I think before you answer. Yeah. They look like something to me, you know, when an engine's ticking over. And when an engine's ticking over and you're going, I can just hear something in it, just hear something not right. Not that something, it's just not perfect, not pouring. And then someone just lashes a bit of oil or fucking something, and bang. It's being primed like a race car going out onto the track. We keep it till the last minute, and then we're going to put it out there at its absolute optimum. In the last 5 minutes of a qualifying, I'll put it in your terms, Kev. At the last 5 minutes of a qualifying session, That's what it looks like to me, Kev. Not that they're not playing well, they're just playing within themselves for when the big bang comes, and then they just go, right, final stretch, 10 games, bang, whatever. What do you think?
Well, we said it after a post-match there a while back when we were in cruise control and confident in the back four. The ability to defend a lead, get ahead, and the ability to defend a lead is huge. They have confidence, and it's not an arrogance, it's confidence in their ability to hold leads and to manage games against sides that they know aren't on the level. Good, like Benfica last night, some good players, and one or two really, really good players. But in general, nothing that wasn't out of the ordinary. It's still fantasy, let's be realistic. It is a fantasy. No one has ever done this for a reason. All right.
But is fate catching up? Is fate catching up with fantasy?
No, I think reality is catching up with it. The fact that it's possible. Just because it's a fantasy doesn't mean it's not a reality. Now, I watched the Boot Room documentary last night, and you watch those set of players with that management and coaching staff try to achieve what we're trying to do, and they did a treble. They did a League Cup, a European Cup, and a league. I think in '84, and that was arguably our best ever side, in my opinion. Growing up, anyway, it was an untouchable side. It was brilliant, and this side is capable of going one better, and it is capable of it. But to get there, let's be honest here, Real Madrid are very good tonight. Bayern Munich are a very, very good side. So are Man City. Spurs, United, all have dangerous players that play for them and are capable of getting a result. We will have to be very, very good. And at some point, I think we're going to absolutely tonk someone. And I'd love that to happen sooner rather than later, because we've been primed for it now for a while. We've been managing games and coasting in games, and I just want to see these chances that we're creating. And we are creating plenty of chances in games. To start taking chances. I want more to start taking the chances that he's making for himself. He's getting in great positions, and he's still always getting in great positions. It's just not clicking for him. Eventually, it's going to click for him, and someone's going to get on the right end of him, big hiding. And the sooner that happens, the better. Because I think, for me anyway, it'll settle me down. Because I think playing the way we are in third gear for so long, that we can keep saying that it's third gear. Maybe it's not third gear. Maybe this is the level that they're at now, and they might need to be able to put the foot down, and there's nothing there. That's a problem. That could be a problem. I don't know. We need to see it. We haven't gone behind in such a long time. I think 19 games in a row now where we've not conceded a goal in the first half. That's mental stuff. That shit doesn't happen in normal times. So that's what makes me think this fantasy can turn into a reality. We're so good at the back. But at the same time, I just want to see us convert more of these chances. And it
comes back to the clinical thing. You want us to, if we're making 8 chances, we're probably taking 2. You want to see us taking 3. 3 will do.
3 or 4. 3 will do, yeah.
If you up that by 50%, if you up your success rate by 50%, 3 goals in a game is huge, especially with the way we defend and the way we keep clean sheets, and we don't concede a hell of a lot of goals.
It mentally destroys sides. It does. When a side goes behind at Anfield, when a side goes 1-0 down, the heads really drop now. Remember a few years ago when we were streets ahead in the league. Once you go down to a Liverpool side, there's no way back. At best, you might get a draw if you keep it to 1. That's why sides like Watford try and stay in the game for as long as humanly possible.
And give it a go for 5 at the end.
And give it a go for 5 or 10 minutes at the end, in the hope that they might get something. And so what if you can see the second one? Big deal.
Yeah.
The worst thing to do is open up on the half hour when you're 1-0 down and get absolutely slaughtered. So, but that's a mentality thing as well, where we're almost mentally destroying sides. They know that one mistake and 1 goal down, they're done.
Just looking ahead to City, I know the lads on Friday night will do a proper preview. It'll probably take up most of the show on Friday night, Liverpool and Man City. But who am I to say? They run that show, not me. But Emma, I'll come to you. We're over the Benfica game. We know what's coming. We know it's City, Benfica, City. But you can only take one at a time. You know, the sort of way. You don't know what if someone gets sent off and suspended, injured, whatever it might be. How are you feeling at the moment? Just about, we're 4 days out from City now, aren't we? 4 days out from City. How are you feeling? Do you feel confident? Do you see things in City where you go, chance to get at them? Like people are mentioning in the chat there, defenders missing. That bench didn't look great last night. Stuff like that. Is it a good time to be playing City?
Yeah, I think it is. And I was just going to say when Kev was talking there, the last time we went behind, I think, was against Norwich in February. And this team never panics. You never see them panic. But we've seen City panic. We've seen City losing the rag at each other. I think it was in the Southampton game or the Crystal Palace game. When things aren't going their way, they try and force things. We don't ever seem to force it. We're kind of comfortable in our own skin, and we know our capabilities, and we take our time. We're patient. City seem to try and force things, and I just think we're more relaxed. Our players are talking about being excited for the run-in. City players are talking about us. Do you know what I mean? We are, like what you said, we're primed and just ticking over. And Kev is right. This might be our gear, but it's doing us all right up till now. So I can't see why it wouldn't do us all right going forward. In terms of Sunday, yeah, I'm excited. I won't go as far as saying confident. Look, I was talking to somebody today, and I think Seany said it himself there. This game we could go and absolutely spank them. It could be a draw. They could spank us. Like, this game could go any way, but I'm more so leaning towards us actually beating them for the reasons I said earlier on. I wouldn't want to be City having to go to Atletico with only a 1-0 lead either next week. So whilst we're looking at one game at a time, and we can afford to because we're 3-1 up, still wouldn't be taking an eye off that game, but we are looking at one game at a time. I think Pep will have to have one eye on the return leg against Atletico, especially going to their place. It would be maybe if they were coming back to the Etihad, they could maybe concentrate more so on the game on Sunday. He will be concentrated on it, but he'll definitely have one eye on it. So for that reason, I'm a little more excited about going into Sunday, because I think we go in a little bit more relaxed, whereas I think they'll have one eye on the return leg against Atletico.
We win a European Cup in 2019, and we win a league in 2020. And last season was kind of like one of those where you just shake your head and go, fuck's sake. Like the injuries and stuff like that. But we still managed to come third in the league, despite everyone thinking it was hilarious how bad we got at one stage and what we had available to us. But we still come third. And, the point is being made on this podcast and channel an awful lot about Liverpool ticking boxes this season. They took names, and they're handing out receipts now this year. But Seany, Emma touches on something there about they have one eye on this and they have one eye on that. How big is that? Because Liverpool do look like they're not riding the crest of a wave where you think they're real big underdogs. They're riding this crest of a wave, and if it doesn't happen, whatever. But Liverpool look like they're just very comfortable in themselves. Every game at a time. Benfica will deal with next Wednesday or whatever night it is. Where the City are talking about Liverpool an awful lot. Have got Atletico Madrid, like to overthink things. Not that they look like they're panicking, they're a brilliant football side, but how big is that, Seany? How is it just Liverpool seem relaxed and excited, whereas City seem to be a little bit tender at the minute? And you said something earlier, Seany, where you said this could be the launch pad for the rest of the season. It really could, couldn't it? I'm just thinking it really could. It could actually determine a couple of competitions here, this result on Sunday.
It's kind of like, it's, for want of a better term, it's kind of like ice and fire at the moment, I think, between City and Liverpool. And I think we seem way more in check and control of our emotions than they do. I think that's a great point that Emmett made about our players just talking about enjoying it. I think Thiago spoke very candidly last week, saying when he was on his break, he spoke to friends about out of all his years in football. Now, you're talking about Thiago, who was won or all nearly twice. Like, he's saying he's never been in a position in his career where he was in April and everything was on the table, and how exciting it is and how together they are. And the team now, the drill with you've got Laporte saying mad things, like you've Bernardo going further back, you'd Pep's stupid comment about his approach to the game was going to be against Atletico, that they were going to play with 12 men. Just silly, not composed. I don't know. I think if he score first on Sunday, yeah, they seem to now only have one way of playing. It's boy line, pull it back, pick for something up, or De Bruyne to come up with a bit of magic. These games are fine margins, and fine margins, the strikers make the difference. And we have literally players queuing up to make the difference for us, whereas they're saying they don't have any forwards when you won't play Gabby Jesus. I don't know why. Like, because he'd play centre forward for nearly every other club in the league, I'd imagine, if it wasn't City or Liverpool. So I just feel we're a bit more the killer. They don't like this. City don't like this. They like to be ahead. They're great.
Yeah, we buzz off it, and they
are running away with it. But I don't feel they have the stomach for this fight, Gav. I genuinely don't. They've been crap when I've watched them. I mean crap by their standards. I think you look at the Palace game, they started to panic after 20 minutes not being 1-0 up. It starts to become a little bit pullbacks, this, that, and the other. Everyone was turning around going, they battered them in the second half. They had one shot on target in the second half of that game. He didn't make any changes. It's scattergun. Pep has come out and saying, oh yeah, I don't know, I just try to sometimes I overthink it. He galaxy brains it. He's going to do it this weekend. He will do something. He'll do something mad. There's no doubt about it. He will do something stupid or mad. He might leave Rodri out. He might play him and Fernandinho, leave Bernardo out. He might do something stupid. Whereas we're just going, right, we're going to turn up and be us. And if I agree with the lads, someone's going to get polished by us between now and the end of the season. Genuinely, someone is going to get tonked. And Salah's shots are going to start going in again. That's what we do now. The psychology of it is huge, though. I do believe that. And I think this is like you're going in now and we have a real chance to dent them and crash that season. Whereas I think if they beat us, we'll carry on. But I do feel if we beat them, we could completely derail them. Because think about it, right, Gav? If they beat us on Sunday, we can make changes and go and beat them in the FA Cup. If we beat them on Sunday, there's not a lot they can change to go and beat us in the semi-final at Wembley. There's not a lot they can do. They're looking threadbare at the moment. They might get Diaz back for the out, but like I echo Emmett's sentiment. I think Laporte's a better player than him anyway. I think Diaz is rolling the team is far overstated. So I do feel that momentum is on our side. Like a reference for Kev. This is Formula 1. You're going into Q2. You're finishing Q2. You know you have miles in the tank. Q3, you're going out and bursting the arse out of it, and then you're ready to go for the race. And I do feel like we are just ticking over. And we don't need a team talk on Sunday. This team has been through enough together.
They know their job on Sunday. Don't be beaten. Is the first bit of it, Seany. Don't be beaten.
You know what would be great, Gav? And I've been vehemently against them ever since the shite and all started. The talk is that the stuff is coming around with Salah, yeah? There's talk that there's been some sort of a breakthrough in negotiation, so to speak. Now, nobody of any know has really said it, but David Lynch said today that it looks like that there's going to be a compromise. How good would it be if on Saturday morning or Friday night or Saturday night they announced his contract?
When he bounces out with the Etihad and just fucking goes Rasher.
Yeah.
Good
And
thing.
he thought this little thing in the Liverpool armour where he might be gone and this might be the end, and he comes out, Salah signing on, and he's good to go. These little things like that, like, you know what I mean? I am getting so horny sitting here, it's not even funny.
You're always horny. You're the hell
Yeah,
devil.
no, it's like we can. Sunday is the launch pad, and I genuinely believe that if we were to win it, good luck to the rest of them. As Gerrard said all them years ago, all the best.
Yeah. Kev, how are you feeling for Sunday, early doors? I know you'll do a preview on Friday, but just how are you feeling early doors?
Really looking forward to it because I think the press conferences this week are going to be unreal. The idea that what Pep blew up in his press conference last week, they say the managers don't pay any attention to the media and they don't pay any attention to podcasts. Pep is watching all of it. Where did all this stuff come out about that he overthinks stuff? He was reeling off all the stuff that we've been saying for ages. And he was reeling it off.
I hope he's
subscribed.
subscribed.
He's a subscriber.
40% of people that watch. Yeah, well, 40% of people that watch this don't subscribe. Maybe he's just watching in the long grass.
Like
Pep, if you're watching, grow up, you childish fucker.
But I guarantee he pays attention to everything. That blow up that he had last week about he overthinks things. He wants to play with 12 men, this and that. Where did all that come from? What's all that about? I'm looking forward to those. I'm looking forward to seeing the lineups because I wonder if Klopp will do something along the lines of a 4-4-2 and play with Diaz wide and maybe Mo wide and Bobby and Jota dropping in like 2 10s to create an absolute madness. Make Pep play a different way. Stop him from playing out from the back. Make them go long and change the way the game is played. I honestly think that Klopp is just going to do something different. I don't see us playing 4-3-3. I really don't. I honestly think you will go and take the game on and take the game to City. And they had their best chance to beat us in the first half at Anfield. They were really good and they really dominated us. And they should have put us away and they didn't. Because when we got to grips with it and came out in the second half and got it back to and took the point, we were. I think we came out of that game better than what they did. It was only a draw, but we came out a lot more confident. And I just think the Klopp will have something special for this weekend. I'm really looking forward to it. Can't wait.
I'm really looking forward to it too, and even more so now because we've decided now if we win this on Sunday, while City are getting launched in all sorts of competitions, which I'm absolutely bang up for. 50 minutes in, we better talk about this guy, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, if you are of the belief that Trent Alexander is limited defensively, or when you get an argument thrown at you going, yeah, he can pass, but can he defend? This was brought to me today in our Telegram group, a guy named Conrad, who said, from his sins, he said for his sins, but he was listening to the Football Terrace, and Terry over there was saying that Trent is world class, but he feels that defensively he's a bit liable to be targeted, and you get some change out of him and stuff like that. And Conrad wasn't happy whatsoever. He said, can you bring it up and ask our guest tonight how good you think Trent Alexander-Arnold is, right? Now, before any of them lads speak, I'm going to tell you he's the best right back in the world. No arguments. I don't give a fuck who you want to bring up. He is the best right back in the world, because if you can play that high up the pitch and do what he does and still be in a fucking team that concedes about 20 goals in a fucking league season, you have to be absolutely exceptional, both going forward and defensively. It's a myth that he's poor defensively. He doesn't get dragged out of position very often. He doesn't get beaten very often. And it's actually getting to the stage that when he's getting beaten, it's highlighted. Do you remember like when people used to, when your man dribbled by Virgil van Dijk and then Virgil just picked him up and fucked him into the Anfield Road end, and it was like, oh, look at the stat, he dribbled past Virgil. I don't know what the lads are going to say about Trent Alexander-Arnold when I asked them, but I tell you now, he is a generational talent. He will probably go down, in my opinion, he will end up in the top 5 all-time Liverpool players for me, genuinely. And what he does has changed right back, I think, along with what Klopp has, put upon him to do. The assists, the odd goal, the passing range. He hit a couple last night that are just out of this world. This is a fella that's been off for 2 weeks because he had a bit of a hamstring injury. And I genuinely think he's generational talent. I think he's the best right back in the world. And I think he will go back down as I think he'll end up in the top 5 Liverpool players of all time. Emma, Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Fully agree. Generational talent. Like you said there that other teams target him. I don't think they target Trent. I think they target the space behind him when he's actually pushed forward.
Yeah.
So they're not actually targeting him. He has something like, I think in the Premier League, it's 55 clean sheets out of 155 games. Tackle success in the 60s or early 70s, I think. He doesn't, like, you're not going to say your stereotypical right back or your wing back gets forward or gets to the byline and cross it. Trent can put a ball into the box from anywhere. And you saw that last night with the ball to Diaz. Unbelievable. The closest thing to him, or the closest thing that he is to possibly Beckham with his deliveries. But again, I think Beckham kind of maybe got further up the pitch. Trent will stick a ball on your head from his own half or just inside his own half. He has, like you said, I think revolutionised the position itself. 44 assists he has in 155 games. The closest, I think, I had a look earlier on when you said what we were going to be talking about. I think the closest to him is Dan Petrescu in the Chelsea team. He's like 216 games and 33 assists. But nobody else, and that's in the Premier League ever, nobody else comes anywhere near him in terms of his contribution going forward. So yeah, best, I think, right back in the league ever. He's the best right back in the league, best right back in the world at the moment, and possibly, like, you look who he goes up against to be the best right back in the world ever, and there are some big names in there, but he wouldn't be uncomfortable in that company, I don't think, either. So yeah, generational talent for me, unbelievable player, and I agree with what you just said there as well. He will wind up being one of Liverpool's best ever players.
Them numbers are just insane, you know. And like we're talking about, like when you put up lists of assists over 3 seasons in the Premier League, and he's literally neck and neck with Kev De Bruyne, who is fucking an outstanding footballer, playing in a team that wins as much as we do, but playing like literally in the other team's half all the time. Now I know Trent does, but Kevin De Bruyne doesn't have to run back and defend against the winger at the same time, you know. And you can't have a defence. You just simply cannot have a defence that concedes that amount of goals, i.e. fuck all, when you're in the grand scheme of things, without both your fullbacks being good defensively. It's impossible. They can, if they go forward and throw balls in the box all day and they're conceding 5 at the other end, there's no point in them. But they're doing the job at the other end as well. I just think I think he's absolutely unbelievable. Seany, Trent, 23. I think he probably has 4 or 5 years to go until he actually reaches his prime. And he's walking around like he owns the place, because I'm just amazed at some of the stuff he does. I really am. That ball for Diaz last night, when he hits it so fucking hard high up in the air and he makes it drop with topspin onto the fella's head, it's just madness.
I'm going to tell you a little thing, right? And I'm going broad with this, right? At 23 years of age, name a player in any side that's had the same impact as him. Think of the names you're going to be naming now, right? 2 off the top of your head straight away.
Premier League was?
Messi and Ronaldo.
Ever.
Well, I wouldn't even put Ronaldo in that space at 23.
Yeah.
Messi, Mbappe, currently.
Yeah. Rooney, probably.
Yeah, Rooney, yeah, no problem with that.
Gerrard.
R9.
Not even Gerrard.
R9.
Gerrard at 23.
When Gerrard was 23, Gav, he wasn't as good as Trent.
No, but I'm saying at 23, Gerrard, I think he's made captain at Liverpool. He's part of the treble winning side in 2001.
Would a 23-year-old Gerrard be the captain of this Liverpool team, do you reckon?
No, I don't think so.
No. Trent is fucking ridiculous. It's astounding how good he is. Genuinely, I could go on about him all day. Like you were saying, Gav, you're probably thinking 4 or 5 years before this fella is at his peak.
Maldini is a show from Super.
Maldini's a great show. But
Yeah.
the thing is,
Maradona.
Right, so then, do you know what? I'll go again in his favour then, right? Name a fully accomplished player who was peak defensively at 23 years of age.
Oh, forget it.
Dani Alves was getting roasted at Sevilla
Yeah.
at that age. Jordi Alba getting roasted. Like, this fella is only going to grow, and he won't even stay there, I don't think. He just plays
Michael
there.
Owen is a shout. Michael Owen. Giggs is a shout, yeah.
Defensively, even Sergio Ramos at that age was playing at fullback. He wasn't all that. He was being blooded to be the centre back that he became.
Lads,
you know,
he's
you're struggling. There is no one else. There really is. Maldini. That's it.
He's unbelievable. Genuinely, like how many times do you're looking at it and you kind of laugh to yourself a little bit when he does the raking balls. The one last night where he lets the ball run through his legs and it's forced.
Well, Laura Duffy says here, Seany, only one Liverpool player has a better assist to appearance ratio than Trent, and it's Kenny Dalglish.
Yeah,
for God's sake.
People are throwing in Philip Lam. Philip Lam is a defender. Philip Lam is don't get me wrong, a fucking brilliant player. He was a vanilla fullback. He was vanilla. He stayed there. They're comparing that stocking off Chelsea to him. Reece James. He's playing in a back five.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he has stabilisers on. Trent, they're all going. Like, Trent is honestly unbelievable. From the minute he stepped into the team, he never lost his place. Never.
Yeah.
He gets roasted at his debut at Old Trafford. Doesn't faze him.
No, he doesn't.
He's going to go.
No, he makes his first appearance at Old Trafford and does okay. He gets roasted between him and Lovren, if you remember.
Yeah.
When they're flinging balls at, was it Lukaku at United? Was it Lukaku that far back? And he gets caught.
He's going to go on to be one of the greatest players this club has ever produced. No doubt about it. He's 23 and he's won it all. Genuinely. You hear the way Neville and all goes on about him. They know they've never seen the likes of him again. And long may it continue that Southgate completely wastes him at international level. Because Trent is a maverick. He's maverick.
He's not brave enough to play him.
And
the funny thing is, Seany, with Southgate, right? The way he treated Trent Alexander-Arnold actually going back a while ago, really fucking
I'll end Southgate here in one, right? There's a famous NBA coach called Phil Jackson. He's literally, he's famed for being one of the greatest coaches of all time across all sports, right? And he had Dennis Rodman. Now, Dennis Rodman was a type of player where nobody knew where he played. He played like a centre, but he was a power forward. He played all over, and then they tried to turn around to say to Phil Jackson, "Why don't you play him?" And his words was, "You don't put a saddle on a stallion." And that's exactly what Trent is. You just let him do whatever the fuck he wants. He just happens to stay there. When we're not in possession, he's beside his mate there, Matip or whoever it is, and we'll look after it. You stay up there, Gav. We were at the game. He's standing on the halfway line. He's not running.
He's in the middle of the pitch.
Nobody. Was anyone balling him?
No.
Because he's a maverick. He's literally told, you go out and do whatever. Obviously, there's a system, but Trent, look, when you got on it, just do your thing. Look how natural that pass is to him last night.
Yeah. The one for Diaz where it just comes out quick, touch, no backlift, and bang. And it's not like
the exact same one to Jota. He does the one to Jota. He gives that one to Jota against Arsenal in the League Cup.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, there's no thinking involved. It's not like he has to set him out, get his foot, like get it out of his feet, have a look. It's just like touch and bang. It's ridiculous. And Diaz doesn't have to alter his run, doesn't have to slow down, doesn't have
perfection.
It's literally going. You run in a line at X miles an hour in that direction, and I will literally put it in front of you. And that's why Diaz is able to head it across the goal, because he's not stretching, he's not thinking. It's like, fuck me, what a ball that is. I'm just going to head it in there for that guy. It's unbelievable. And when it comes to Southgate, you know, people will say, I think he's not brave enough to play him. And I don't mean he's not brave enough to play him in the sense that, you're saying he's weak at the back and Southgate doesn't like that.
He played him in midfield, didn't he?
No, he has played him in midfield. He's not brave enough to play him because, right, he won't get out of Trent in that England team what Liverpool got out of him, because he doesn't, despite what you see and all the evidence, he will not let his fullbacks fly like that and actually come back and defend. He wants them to be defended all the time. Watch England. Their fullbacks are always in shape. The two boys in midfield, Rice and whoever it might be with him, always in shape. And the thing is, and if you're, there's not a fucking hope in hell Reece James or whoever else thinks he can play right back for England gets in ahead of him if you're actually being a realist about football. But having said that, Gareth Southgate treated him appallingly when he dropped him out of the squad and made open comments about him, which was fucking appalling what he done. And if I was Trent, I'd be nearly saying to him, do you know what, piss off. When you leave the England job, I'll come back and play for him, because he's 10 years. He has time on his side over Gareth Southgate. It was an absolute bellet.
They're running out of people to compare him to. First, it was your man Wan-Bissaka, who can't even get a game.
Stop it with you.
And it's Reece James. And then they're going, no, he's not a fullback. He's not a fullback. He doesn't play fullback. Look at where he is on the pitch. So we'll start comparing him to Kevin De Bruyne and the likes and all the rest of them. And he stacks up to them.
Yeah.
He's 23 years of age, and they're talking about this fella in the same limelight as Marcelo, Dani Alves. These are the conversations that are being had. Do you understand how high of a level that is?
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Do you call Flanagan the Scouse Cafe? Remember that?
Yeah.
Because he'd have a good year. This
that was mad, wasn't it?
He's ridiculous. Do you know what? And I have mates who hate Liverpool, and they always go, Jesus Christ, Trent is just fucking stupid. The Beckham thing is great. Beckham was limited, but great delivery. I think Trent has more to his game than
Beckham never needed pace. See, that was the thing with Beckham. He never needed the pace. He just needed half a yard.
Yeah.
And you look at
end up.
Yeah, you look at Trent though. I mean, the ball last night, not the first one, because he's done that a few times. That's almost like a stock trade cross into the box for him these days. The one where he stumbled and he put more through. That deserved the goal. That ball deserved the finish. Like where you're willing a goal to go in because the ball to him was so good. That was one of those, and that was crazy. But in world football now, Hakimi is probably the closest to him, but it's a distant second because Hakimi isn't a great defender. He's very good going forward, but he's not a great defender. João Cancelo is a fantastic fullback. He really is a fantastic fullback, brilliant footballer. But again, Trent has more to his game. He can do what João Cancelo does, but he's also got that whip delivery, that set piece speciality. He needs to improve his free kicks. You know, he needs to do a bit better from there, but that'll come. You look at James Ward-Prowse now. He's a ridiculous free kick taker, but he's 27, 28, and he's honed his craft over the years. Trent will do the same. He will stumble across a way somehow in training of hitting a ball from a free kick, and he'll just rinse and repeat, and he'll start scoring goals from free kicks in the same way as he hits brilliant crosses from corners. He'll just do it because he's technically that brilliant. The idea that he isn't quick, he's quick enough. You know, he's quick enough that he can cover space, and he's better at appreciating space this season than he ever was. Because before he would always get, some sides would target him with a crossfield ball over the top. His awareness and spatial awareness of where he is in the pitch is so much better this season as compared to previous years. And there are leaps and bounds, jumps that he's making year on year on year. And you could see the talent was there when he made his debut in the Audi Cup against Frank Ribery. That was still a Frank Ribery who was still very good. He still had a couple of more years left at Bayern in that, and Trent was only a kid, and he was living with Frank Ribery that day. So you could see the talent that was there, and no manager in their right mind is going to drop him. It's just a case of, in time, when the next manager comes in, they're going to have to accommodate him the way that Jurgen Klopp has, and almost build a team around 2 or 3 players, and Trent is one of those 2 or 3 players, to get the absolute best out of them. And it's almost like, it ain't broke, don't fix it. Whoever tries to manage him, this is the best way to get the best out of this kid. and don't mess with it. Like Gav, you were saying there about it when he plays for England. He's never going to be able to reproduce his Liverpool form for England because of the players who are around him. They just don't read what he does, and he doesn't read what they do. Because the way that this Liverpool side works,
it's an outlook thing, Kev.
Yeah, it is. He just
like-
looks up and sees that crossfield ball to Robertson because he doesn't even look now. He just knows, right, Robbo should be there, so I trust that he's going to be there.
Yeah,
He doesn't even bother looking.
But the thing about England is, right?
Forget about England.
But the thing is, right? If you want to play to your potential and play to your strengths, right? You probably turn around and you say to yourself, in an England team, this would be me. I'd be making sure I had Trent playing. I would probably have Phil Foden ahead of him, and I would have Harry Kane in the box. And if you can get Trent feeding Phil Foden and Harry Kane on a regular, like he does with Salah and whoever's in the middle of the goal, i.e. Diaz, Jota, whatever, England will be a much better side. But anyway, you're probably right, Seany. Fuck them. Because listen, if they don't want to play the game, don't let them play the game.
The chat is full of porn bots and we're talking about Trent. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, they had to go. Look, I think he's just a phenomenal player, and you know I think it was Seany said he's never lost his place in the team. We've seen players come into this team and squad for big money, and they've been integrated in slowly. Trent turns up at 17 or whatever it is, gets a game, and it's like he's always there. It's like there was no integration. He's in. He's fucking great, isn't he? Playing, and he just knew it, and probably because he come up through the ranks and he knows the way and stuff like that. But it's
There's a ridiculous level of fitness as well.
It's a brilliant football career so far. He's 22 years of age. We're probably used to him now for probably 4 or 5 years, and we're probably looking at him for another 10. Someone says, do you think he'll ever leave? He did say that his second favourite team was Barcelona. I don't ever see him leaving Liverpool Football Club. I think in the next 3 to 4 years he'll end up being captain of Liverpool and will captain until the day he retires, a bit like Steven Gerrard. But he's absolutely unbelievable, Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Just on mentioning Steven Gerrard there, because Seany said, I don't think Gerrard was this good at 22. Definitely wasn't. So Trent is already this good. If he can improve as much as Gerrard did from when Gerrard was 22, he's going to be absolutely scary in the next 5-6 years.
At 22, I think that's around 2002. Gerrard has had that big game in Germany. Do you remember for England qualifying for the 2002 World Cup? And he's just on the edge of, absolutely dominating this Liverpool side. And it probably comes when he's probably 23, 24 maybe, where he really got, and then you see the European Cup in 2005 and you see everything from there on in. But listen, you'll be having arguments over who's better overall for Liverpool, Gerrard or Trent. And if you think you're gonna have that argument, that's how good Trent Alexander-Arnold is. Because Gerrard, Barnes, Dalglish, and one or two others always come into the conversation as who are the best. And if Trent is in that conversation, he is a fucking ridiculous footballer. End of story. We're going to head now in a minute. Anything else before we go, Kev?
No, all good. Looking forward to the Masters starting now. Tomorrow, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Australian Grand Prix as well.
Mm-hmm.
God, we're going to get no sleep, man, this weekend.
Oh, can I tell you a great story, Kev?
National as well.
Can I tell you a great story?
Yeah,
I downloaded Formula 1 2021 on my Xbox, right? Comes free on Game Pass, yeah? So I lashed on and I was telling Veranda Cheese and Seany, I fucking hate this game, it's stupid. The car doesn't even steer or anything, it's stupid. So anyway, I kind of got into it, done a career mode, but you can do this thing where you play like 6-7 laps as a Grand Prix rather than doing the whole lot. So you can get through the career mode. I hit the wrong button the other night going into the Azerbaijan race, right? Hit the wrong button between qualifying and the race. And when it came on, I took off from the start line, and I'm about 3 laps in going, right, couple of laps left, this is grand. Looked up, lap 3 of 51 I had. I got to hit the wrong button. I was there for an hour and 20 minutes racing around Azerbaijan. My eyes were fucking killing me by the end of it.
Yeah,
and then I was thinking,
nightmare circuit on those games as well, because it's a street circuit.
Yeah, imagine the people driving these fucking cars, and I was wrecked sitting on my sofa playing it.
You see the new camera angle they got now on the side of it's like a helmet. It's like a helmet cam, but it's on the side.
Seany loves them.
It's amazing. It is ridiculous. The Formula 1 season this year is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just talking about the F1 game there, Gav, there's actually a group of Irish lads that do kind of a Twitch stream and stuff like that.
Brilliant.
Have you watched them?
I've seen them.
And they are losing the rag at each other.
Yeah, these lads, they're famous on TikTok, and it's like, you fucking prick, Fern. You're not your chance to overtake, Fern. You fucking prick. Quit the game. I'm gonna crash into him. It's literally it got me through lockdown.
You'll have to.
I'll send you on a few,
Yeah, point me in the direction of them.
I will bang them up on Twitter, actually, will you? I could do it watching them again. They're absolutely brilliant. It's bonkers how serious people take that game. Like that I didn't realise how big the Formula 1 esports is. These lads who are actually like...
you just know that they have the suspended seat and the
you need
all
it
at home in their bedroom.
Kev, you might know better than me. Some of these lads were test drivers for actual Formula 1 teams. Is that right?
I'm not sure about the games. I know the esports is nuts because there's a lot of people now using esports to get into Formula 3 and Formula 4 and working their way out that way. There's one guy who's won esports Formula 1 World Series events, and he's racing in Formula 3. He got a seat in Formula 3 because of what he's done in esports. And he said the transition wasn't... he was already involved in driving and karting and stuff like that. But he said the transition into the higher levels wasn't as bad, wasn't as difficult for him as other drivers because of what he's done in esports. You know, it's the esports in Formula 1 is massive. It's a massive industry in its own right. Yeah, well, football is huge. FIFA is huge, obviously, but esports in Formula 1 is getting bigger and bigger and bigger as the years go by. Well, the game is so realistic.
I'm having a great time on the Formula 1, but then, of course, I went on to play Warzone and they got rid of Plunder again. They keep doing it every 4 days just to fucking annoy me. So when I go on for a game, I have to play big boys games and I'm no good at it, so I just turn it off. Emma, anything else before we go?
No, all good. Roll on the weekend.
Good stuff. Seany, anything else before we go? Just to let you know, last night me and Keith had a massive conversation about our favourite bar of chocolate. All sorts went off on a tangent last night at the end of the show, but Keith didn't play the tin whistle or anything like that, so don't panic. Anything else from Seany before we go?
No, just the show goes on. This day next week we'll I can't even begin. I'm gonna lose sleep. I can't believe I'm even doing podcasts. Don't ask me on till May, will you not?
No, I have to.
So it's just we always talk about it in the WhatsApp and all. I am not built for this, honestly. Like I said, I'm gonna be like Dustin Hoffman again in the bed tonight, just rattling off, like I'm gonna be shaking like a leaf in the bed. She'd be looking at me going, "Has he got something going on the side or something?" I'd be just thinking about Liverpool, thinking about these games and how they're gonna play out.
It's like when you're lying in bed beside your missus and you have the WhatsApp group open with the lads and there's something mental going on, just the shoulders are shaking, empty in the bed, and they're like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'll have to get out of bed. I have to leave the room because I'd be in fits laughing. Someone says, "Can you hit me up?"
Southern Realist is want to have a bleeding cup of tea or something and chill himself out there.
Couple of biscuits.
He's gonna give himself a bleeding heart attack.
Yeah, you want to give.
Can't enjoy this.
Herschel says, "Gav, watch our gamer tag for Warzone." I'm not telling you. But if you go in, Seany knows it. If you go into our Telegram app, tell
him what it is and why. Just go on before we go.
Oh, for fuck's sake, right? So I'm no good at these games. Never played them before until Warzone came out. So I'm probably playing it about a year. The lads were like, "Come on and play Warzone." So I came on. I'm terrible at it. No, I'm actually a bit better now, but I was appalling at it. I couldn't turning the fella left and right, looking up and down, shooting all over the place. But in fairness to the likes of Seany, Call, Matt, Brenzy, they used to come on and go, "Listen, we know you're absolutely awful, but come on and we'd play anyway." But I got to the stage where I was playing and I'd get shot and I'd be out and they could buy you back in, but I was telling them not to because I was sitting eating crisps watching them playing. It was great. And but I ended up calling myself Lukey Sky Shooter, and the reason being it was a play on that guy from Star Wars, what's his name? Luke Skywalker. But I call myself Lukey Sky Shooter because in one game, one of the lads shouted at me. I'll never forget it. We were in Warzone. It was in Verdansk. It was down by the school. I'm standing on the street, and one of the lads said, "Fuck this, here's a fella landing in," because you'd hear it over your ear, fucking enemy nearby. and I just turned, pointed my gun into the sky and emptied the thing up into the sky, shooting at nobody. Your man landed beside me and just went pop and done me. So I changed my name that day to Lukey Sky Shooter. So that's my name on Warzone. If you want to look me
Gav
up.
has 100 kills on Warzone. Most of them are boards flying over the map.
Yeah. Like I'd be texting lads going, like they go, oh yeah, I done this and I came, fucking, I won Warzone or I won whatever, and I'd be going 2 kills all night, happy, going to bed, and that'd be true. Like about 6 games that had 2 kills. So but it's all about
Gav, you should get a few people involved in the Discord with the Warzone.
Well, we're in Telegram now. The Telegram app is deadly. It's like WhatsApp, and you go in and you have a great time on it. You go in there.
Discord.
No, Discord's still there, but the Telegram is what we're using mostly. So if you go into Telegram, you can drop in there. You can get it in the if you're subscribed. So subscribe. If you're subscribed, go into the community tab. You'll find the link for the leveler. You download the Telegram app. Go in there, get the link. You sign up. You can sign up for absolutely free or $2.99. Same difference, but the $2.99 goes to charity. We're paying for this app to be used, and that goes to charity. But you get in there. There's groups there about Liverpool transfers, general Liverpool, the shows that we do, the merch that we do, and people can talk about whatever. So if you want to come in and get people's Warzone tags and go in and play with them, absolutely. I'm getting off this now to play some Warzone.
Before you go, it looks like Lampard is getting sacked.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Big Sammy incoming.
Okay.
Everton board held an emergency meeting over the future of Frank Lampard. No decision has been made yet. So
Duncan's going to get it. Duncan's going to get it.
Yeah, they're going to give it to Duncan, aren't they?
Big Sam is on a gravy boat down the Mersey.
Yes. No bet mate tonight. Ask the claimer. No, there's no bet mate tonight. I don't know how we done yesterday, but check out bet mate. It's really good. It's like the link is in the description. Yes, it's UK based. You sign up, get your app, go in, play a free pot to see what it's like. It's fantasy football without all the this player's worth this. But you're literally picking for certain games and certain sets of games. You're picking teams, picking a starting 7, 4 on the bench, double points for captains, stuff like that. It's really good, and you're only playing against other people like yourself. You're not playing against betmate themselves, and it's really, really good. So go and check that out. But the Telegram stuff is deadly. There's about 80 of us in there, I think, at the minute, and talking about all sorts of stuff. People are really good. They're not arseholes in any way. They all talk amongst themselves about all sorts of stuff. And as I said, if people are on Xbox or PlayStation or wherever they might be, and they want to, link up it, away from Telegram and play those games, absolutely go and check that out as well. Richo says, after 50 years supporting Everton coming to an end, well, word is now that Lampard could be on the way out, which is weird because they literally turned their main man down to go and get Frank Lampard, which is unreal. Great show this evening, guys. Always love Seany's passion for his team. Seany's shaking like a shitting dog. Don't worry about it. And he will do until about the 28th of May. That has been it. Thanks for sticking with us for an hour and 20 minutes. As I said, tomorrow I'll have the Cup update. We have a tomorrow night off, I think. And Friday I'll have the Cup update and Sports Unplugged. Saturday we're off. Sunday we will have an immediate reaction to Man City versus Liverpool, and we will then have the Fatback 4 as well that evening. Talk to you in a bit. Over and out.